Round one, fight!
The Grim Reaper Gamers are a 25 and over gaming community with members spanning the globe, playing games across all genres, but our roots are in first-person shooters. Bring your thick skin, drink of choice, and grab your controllers. GRG members are on nightly with official community nights every Wednesday. And now, it's time for the ReaperCast.
Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to the ReaperCast. Once again, Johnny apparently can only do like one every other episode or whatever. So last week he had to work 2 weeks ago, so he's not here tonight. So it's Jammer hosting. We're at episode number 58 already. My God, I don't know how we continue to go up in the numbers, and somehow we decide to do this every 2 weeks because we're just stupid, I think. With me tonight, first, the Grand Poobah, who he's a little red right now, but he's always in a happy mood. Lala, how you doing? What you drinking? And what have you been playing?
Tomato meter is very low at the moment. What I'm drinking right now is I got some special beer here. Philadelphia Brewing Company. Well, it's actually Yards Brewing Company. They just released a beer called Sons of Ben based off the fan section of the MLS team, the Union. So I'm finishing up the end of that case. Excellent beer. And I'm playing Paladins mostly. Sprinkled in some Battlefield, but Paladins got my full attention for a shooter at the moment.
How was that rebuy of Overwatch?
Yeah, that's going pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah. It's taking space on my hard drive. That's a Johnny purchase, so.
Well, you're allowed to have one compared to the 50 others that the rest of us have.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I mean, I have all this stuff in my Steam library that I never, ever play. So
yeah,
you're allowed to rebuy and have one. I'll
that
give you a
like
break, even though I keep asking you. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
The thing that burns me is I got the Hot Wheels DLC for Forza, and I think I hated that the moment I played it. It's awesome
I haven't
looking.
touched that.
It's awesome looking, but the tracks are so impossible for someone like me to drive. You know, anybody that has talent can actually go around and race in the tracks. Me, I fly off every which way.
See, now actually, and I'll get to our third chair in a second, but that actually made me a little somber, you saying that, because, the cunning stunts in GTA, I thought about the loops and everything because you were having difficulty with that, right? There's like loops on the track and stuff.
Yeah.
And it made me think of Evolve, because Evolve would always, GTA, not make the loops around and complain. So it just made me have a little kind of sad moment thinking about our buddy Evolve. In the third chair, it doesn't get much better looking than this. We prefer him over Johnny every night because we get to look in the camera, and I'd rather see him sitting there than Johnny's fat ass. But Grex, how you doing? What you playing? What you drinking?
So mean. I am drinking Empire Brewing, local brew company up here. Skinny Atlas Light. It's a clutch style beer. Pretty good. One of my faves out of this brewery up here. And I am playing Paladins, a little here and there with Paladins, and of course Black Desert online is my my main time waster. Just a little bit.
Are you able to do the age thing to see how long you've played that?
It's kind of spread out along with different characters, and it's just scary, so I'm just not going to comment on that.
Yes, you plead the fifth, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Greg. Especially at the last moment, Greg's hooked us up and joined us because Johnny had some scheduling difficulties, lots of meetings in Nebraska. So
yeah, apparently he has like 5 Boy Scout meetings today and has to coach like 3 softball games. So
yes,
he's a busy guy.
Very busy in Nebraska. But I'm also to our audience out there. I should be feeling like nervous because like I'm with like GRG hierarchy, both of them like sitting here like staring at me and like I'm afraid I'm gonna mess something up, and they won't fire me. Unfortunately, they'll promote me. So, but I'm feeling a little bit under the gun tonight because of that.
Yeah, firing is something everybody wants on staff, so we only promote.
Yeah. So since we don't have a member spotlight this evening, since both you guys been on the show before, I just want to bring up again that we have our new email address, and we'd love to hear feedback from you and questions and stuff. So email us, tell us that we suck. We're great. If you have questions you want us to answer on the show, or you can email us anytime at ReaperCast@GrimReaperGamers.com. And amazingly or not, we had some mystery person, and I'm putting that in quotation marks because we know who you are, email us with some questions. So kudos to that mystery person for being the first person who emailed us with a question. And since I'm the host, I don't have to answer it, so I will throw it to you guys. So the email reads, "Hello, great show." So obviously he was drunk when he typed this.
Or high.
Yes. So a few
Sniffing
questions
paint.
here. The first one he has there is, and I'm going to go to Grex on this one first. How does Grim Reaper Gamers select what MMOs to play?
Depends on what day of the week it is. We flip around with our ADD. It's crazy.
Yeah, see, it's pretty simple, I would say. Lala and Grex are not our typical GRG member in terms of MMOs. They pumped a ton of hours into Guild Wars 2, and Grex has put who God knows how many hours in the Black Desert, and also you guys pumped a lot of hours into Star Wars too, as well. I don't know if you pumped a lot of hours into WoW or not. I know Lala had done some, but
yeah, I'm definitely not like the typical GRG person. When I get an MMO, a game, I usually try to stick with it as long as it's pretty good. There's a few that I bought that I just didn't like, so I moved on, like WildStar. That gave me a headache playing it. I couldn't stand reading the text on it, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I right now I'm currently playing Elder Scrolls Online. I'm looking forward for the Morrowind expansion that's coming out, and I'm playing that on the Xbox. But I put a fair share of time into Guild Wars 2. I'm afraid to do the age on that. That's ridiculous. I played that forever. And then Star Wars. And I put a lot of time in Warcraft. I don't know. I know the mystery person, the game of the hour sort of deal. But, I try to pick like one of the bigger ones. I like, personally, for me, it's got to be, a top tier developer making the game, and it's got to be something that's supported. I don't want to. Well,
and you play a lot of Elder Scrolls, and I find that one interesting in the sense that I don't really rate. It's an MMO, but I don't really look at that one as a typical MMO. I look at that as just a massive multiplayer version of Skyrim, in a sense. So that one's a little bit different to me.
Well, a lot of them I can play. A lot of them I can play pretty much solo. When you quest, it's pretty much a solo event. Like you look at Warcraft, it was, you ran through that solo. And in fact, Warcraft, I started that late. I'd enter zones. I'd be the only person in the goddamn zone. At least Elder Scrolls has like mega servers, so you're always constantly seeing people around. And there's some events that you can do together. But Guild Wars was probably like the only really game that I played that I got involved with other people on a regular basis. And that was because we did the PvP. I did that pretty much 95% of the time in the game. I just log on, enter world versus world, and do combat. I got to know the people on our server. You got to know all the different clans, who's who, and you work together trying to defend different structures or attack stuff. So I think that was the only game that for me that I played that as an MMO. Everything else, when you start questing, like Star Wars, when you quested, you pretty much quested solo.
Yeah, true. Let's move on to the next question. And this one, mystery person, I'm confused, but see, I'm the host, so I don't have to worry about answering this question. And either one of you guys want to grab this one. The second question on the email is, how are MMOs rated by Grim Reaper Gamers?
I think Rex likes to look to see which one has the best button that he can pick for his tune and sticks with that.
It's got to be pretty. If I'm going to be staring at, the rear end of something for God knows how many hours, it's got to look good.
Yeah, I just started. I've been playing. I've had Black Desert for a while, and I played with a little bit here and there. But tonight was the first night I actually did look at the clothing shop in that thing. And you are one perverted fuck, Rex, because holy shit, some of the clothes in that thing I'm like, what
Hey,
the
I'm
hell?
not buying all that stuff. I'm not buying.
And then the last part he has on here is, and I'll just take care of this real quick because we've kind of touched on it before, the sub versus buy to play versus free to play. I think we've kind of touched on it before. That's definitely, at least Lala and I, with that. We prefer the buy to play or the sub, and not be hit with the cash shop all the time if it's a game that we prefer. We don't mind a cash shop if it's pretty little items and they're not hitting us upside the head with it. But I'm always happy to sub. I don't know about you, Grex, with that type of model.
Usually, if the sub, I usually don't have a problem with the sub, especially if I'm sticking with the game long term, and it's providing me benefits in game. I can justify the value. Cash shop stuff like that is cool if it's kept to customizations. Clearly staying away from the pay to win type model. And putting items in there that would foster that. I usually don't like, of course. But yeah, I usually don't have a problem with a sub. Like you think a magazine or anything like that, you get a sub. So if there's value, if I could justify the value for myself, then I don't have a problem paying it.
Yeah, and just real quick on that, like we talk about the free to play. I just don't see the free to play games as much fun or as a regular game. There's always either it's lacking or they just beat the hell out of you to buy stuff. Like the constant reminder to buy cash items because they got to make money somehow. So they give the game away free, but then anything else you want to do is going to nickel and dime you. And before you know it, you're paying that sub price anyway. So that's all.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do like the hybrid model that they're doing. You buy the game at first, and expansions come free. And then they just have the cash shop for supplemental, and that handles your expansions and things like that. So, I mean, Black Desert does that, although the comment is their cash shop is just incredibly expensive. But there are other games like that. You buy the game, Guild Wars is like that. You buy the game, and everything else in the cash shop is purely cosmetic. So, I do like that model.
And I never mind supporting games that I'm enjoying, with a cash shop like that. So thank you to our mystery person for emails. If anybody else, like I said, wants questions for us to answer, email us and we'll try and get them on the cast. And once again, the email address was reapercast@grimreapergamers.com. In terms of scheduled activities going on or whatever, always make sure you check our calendar of events at grimreapergamers.com. We're very good at keeping that updated when there's events on the calendar out there. Wednesday nights is always an important one. That's our community night. Get a bunch of people on for that. That's kind of when we all come together, minus me, who likes to ignore, the community, and we all try and game together and shoot the shit. So Wednesday nights is always a good one to get to. But make sure you're checking the calendar out there to see what's going on. And as I've said before when I've hosted, don't wait for us to make an event. If you want to play a game, post in the forums that you're looking to play this game this night at this time or whatever, and generally you're going to get some members that are going to join you. So don't wait for staff. Make some events when you want to play a game. Any comments on the calendar, guys, before moving forward?
Yeah, just a quick thing about the Monday nights. We have the Shooter McGavin FPS Mondays. This is kind of a way to try to branch out from the typical games we play. I know a lot of guys get stuck in their rut. They're playing the same game over and over again. And this is the opportunity to play a game like Overwatch or Call of Duty or something that we're not playing as often, Titanfall, or even Paladins. Just a chance to play something different than the standard and try something new.
Well, or any game, as a matter of fact, GTA or anything like that. But, like I said, post a forum. You want to play, what the hell was the one? Battleground. What the fuck was the game that Overwatch kicked its ass?
Yeah, Battlegrounds.
Not
Battlegrounds, Battleborn.
Battleborn. Like, you got Battleborn. I mean, you might not get anybody, but you're looking to play it. You post on the forums and say, hey, I got this game I want to play. Does anybody else have it? And go from there. Let's move on to gaming news. First one, and boy, how fitting it is to have Kahara herself here on the show for this one. There's been news out there. It's been out there for a while. I don't think we've touched on it. about Black Desert Online coming to consoles. Thoughts on that? We'll go to Grex first because he's dressed in Kahura gear. Actually, as soon as I mentioned Black Desert.
Oh, of course. So yeah, coming to consoles, video coming to consoles. So let me just start off say that I do think the game can definitely be played on a console, with a controller and everything like that. But I do have some major concerns with it coming to console. And the first one is the AFK aspect of the game. Right? So this game basically heavily relies on you doing tasks AFK, processing materials, fishing, just processing mats for all that stuff. No one wants to sit in front of their Xbox and watch your character chop wood for, an hour or two or leave it going. So for one thing, I think, who's going to leave their Xbox going for 24/7 playing, doing AFK processes on this game? And the other is the cash shop, which is incredibly expensive. You don't actually have to buy anything from there, which is good. But the general armor in the game and everything you get is pretty bland. So getting costumes and things like that are nice to have. They're not needed, but when I did initially see the prices, it was kind of a sticker shock kind of thing. They do put a lot of detail in them, and they're, of course, amazing looking because the game is just like that. But other than that, those are my only two major concerns on how they're going to do that. The UI could be better, but I'm sure they'll probably redo that for console port as it is.
Well, and I haven't tried it, but there actually is a gamepad setting on the PC version right now. So they if that's there, they kind of already have the concept of how to transmit it over to console in a sense. I haven't tried using it. Yeah.
I mean, based the way the controls are today, how you do combat and stuff like that, I don't see a way that you wouldn't be comfortable with using a controller. That wouldn't be the problem. I don't see that as a big problem at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, Lala, I mean, you're more because you don't really do the gaming PC side of things. So I know you've been looking for more MMOs to hit consoles. So is this something you would try out just because of another MMO, or you just because of Kahura you're not going to touch it?
I think I would maybe give this one a try. You guys scare me with the amount of grinding that seems to be involved. But I mean, the game looks gorgeous, so I'd definitely give it a shot. I don't know how well it'll transition, and I know the cash shop and those AFK sessions. I don't know if they would work for me as a gamer. We'll see. I don't know. I'm waffling on this one. I'd probably give it a shot just to see it if it was free, but or if it was cheap to buy into. But I don't know if it would be a long-term game for me.
The AFK thing kind of makes me think of when Minecraft came out, and you could have a server with your friends, but your friend, your friend has to have the Xbox on for you to be able to go into that server.
Yeah, it's like Ark.
So yeah, like how Ark is, but Ark's a little bit. Do they have to run? You have to run an Xbox 24/7 for Ark as well.
For a private server, yes.
Yeah, on Xbox. So that's something that they're gonna have to figure that one out because there's more games going that way where you have a server running. And,
I think it just runs just like that. It just runs AFK. You leave your Xbox running. I mean, that's that.
I wouldn't want to do that with my Xbox. It's different to me than my PC for whatever reason.
I don't know. It'd probably handle it just fine running 24/7.
I mean, I think it would handle it just fine. It's just how many people are using their Xbox as their main entertainment thing. If you flip over to like watch TV, or they're talking about all this multitasking stuff. On the PC, you can minimize Black Desert while it's doing AFK processes, right? You could just minimize the game and do whatever you want. I don't know how that's going to work on Xbox or a console port or whatever they do with that. It's just, I don't know. So that's just an area of concern.
Yeah, it's one of the draws of the game is that you can, if you're fishing, they kind of encourage you to leave the game running, while you're doing something.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
They very much encourage that, and I think it's coming to Steam soon too, as well.
Yeah, it launches tomorrow on Steam because they got a new patch coming out. Well, they do patches weekly, but the next one's going to be a content drop tomorrow, and they're dropping a new class, Striker class. So that should bring a bunch of people back as well, if anybody left.
Yeah, and we'll move on, but they'll gain people because there's some of those gaming people out there that Steam is like their only source to get games. They don't necessarily go outside that Valve system, so I'm sure there'll be a pickup of people there for that. Moving on, this was probably the least shocking news that came through this week. It's something that I think just about anybody predicted that knows anything about the gaming industry. Is Red Dead Redemption is delayed until 2018. So, I mean, we all kind of figured it, so it's not really something I think we can have a long discussion on, but I don't think anybody's necessarily disappointed about that.
No, in my notes that I wrote, because I become prepared, it states
I don't see them.
It states to feign being shocked. So I'm supposed to pretend I'm being shocked about this news.
Oh.
It's actually kind of a good thing. You figure you're getting a bunch of titles coming out in the fall anyway. I'm looking forward to Destiny 2, Call of Duty, Battlefront. Or now you push this game off this spring. It gives you something. It's going to give you a great game for the spring when things slow down from the other shooters or from the other titles. I'm okay with this. It wasn't it's not a title I'm like desperately looking forward to, like Destiny 2. I think I'm more interested in that than this.
Yeah, I just realized too with Destiny 2, we got to talk. That's not in our agenda. Believe it or not, Destiny 2. Somebody blew it.
Yes.
We'll blame Johnny. I mean, for me, and I don't know if Grex has any thoughts, but I don't care if they delay it, for a year and a half. As long as it's good. Sometimes companies don't delay it because they don't want the backlash, and then they put out a shitty product. So, I mean, Rockstar knows what the hell they're doing. So I have faith that if they need to delay it, there's a good reason they're delaying it, and it'll come out as a quality product. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we've talked about before that there's really not much in the Western type of theme out there with gaming. So a lot of people, I think, that like that type of genre plus the Rockstar background will wait, and we're going to buy it regardless whenever it comes out. Moving on, and this is one I think we're kind of all on the same page, but we need to somebody needs to pretend like that they're not, I guess, so we can get those conflicts going out. There's still all this back and forth going on about when the Scorpio comes out, if the Xbox One is going to hold back the potential of the Scorpio. And I know we all kind of had the same viewpoint on it, but the VP of Xbox is saying that that's not the case. The developers aren't going to be held back because they need to meet the needs of the Xbox One. It seems that their wording initially on how you could use any of the consoles is just made people confused by this situation. So let's go to our resident number one nerd. I'm going to go to Grex.
Good choice. Good choice, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't fucking know anything about this.
Yeah, so the whole comment, so I guess it goes back to the whole what people think when they talk about gaming on consoles, and you have a fixed set of hardware, right? So a developer has a code to that specific set of hardware. And the way Microsoft is driving their development now is that Xbox One and Xbox Scorpio will be running the same OS. They might have different hardware underneath, but it's still running the same operating system, right? And it's going to be intertwined with PC and all this stuff, and they're really merging all this stuff, and they're trying to create a platform that can support it all. So in that case, these two boxes are basically like another PC. And when developers code to this, they're just going to make different res rates, different resolutions for the different consoles. I don't see how this is any different from coding a game for a PC. And I think we need to get out of that mindset that, when you code for a console, you have to code to a specific development kit, a specific, set of hardware. I think Microsoft is saying, no, that's not the case anymore. With Xbox One, we brought in that new framework. We're using that same framework on Scorpio, but with better hardware.
Yeah, I agree with that. Go ahead, Lala.
Yes, I agree too, wholeheartedly.
There you go.
The only thing, I guess people have the big concern is I'm going back a ways, but the Genesis, they came out with that 32-bit extension kit for it, and I think they created 3-4 games for it. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, I had that, so I had Doom and Star Wars. Yeah, so that's the only concern, but they say it doesn't. My biggest concern with Scorpio is trying to figure out how I'm going to sneak one past the wife. So I don't know. I mean, I saw like the Forza 6 screenshots. And I'm like, forget. I mean, this thing looks like it's real life stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. You never think it can look better, and then making stuff look better. So you're always, amazed. So I saw those Forza shots, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get one of these things.
Yeah, my only thing, and Grex, I don't know if you would know this from a programming perspective, but is PC now is a lot, mainly digital. I mean, I don't even know who the hell buys the actual disk to install from anymore. So the data that you can store on a disk size compared to a digital download, could that be an issue there on the Scorpio? Because when you're doing a digital download,
because of the 4K and stuff like that.
Yeah, when I'm doing a digital download, the size can be whatever, so they can code the game for my low graphics or my ultra graphics or everything. When you're dealing with an Xbox game, I think the higher percentage of people still are buying discs, and they have to cater to retailers like Walmart and GameStop and Best Buy by selling these products on disc. So, are they going to be able to fit that data onto a disc?
Yeah, it depends on. Yeah, so there's a lot of variables in that question. You have to look at how the graphics are coded. If they're using the one thing is if there's a lot of quote unquote cutscenes, that's what you're going to be your big thing, because those are fully rendered movies.
So forget Metal Gear.
Right, and that's what's going to take up a lot of space. They're roaming around, playing in an open world and stuff like that are generally not like they're rendered as you play, right? So it's not still images that they're using. So, I mean, there's a lot of ifs in there on how they're coding the graphics in the game.
Now, hopefully, they'll clarify a little bit more with E3 as coming up soon. We're not too far away from that. Actually, it's next month, I think, isn't it? Yeah. So, anything else, Lala, before I move on to the next topic?
Next topic, please.
Okay. This one will be brief. First, last time on our show, crack investigator Lala had come up that Far Cry 5 was going to be set in a Western setting. That was the news that his crack reporting had pulled up. And if we were still doing the live cast, we would put a big red wrong stamp on Lala's face if we were still doing the broadcast deal.
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
The teaser takes place in Montana, and you're telling me that's not the Wild West? I mean, right?
It's true. You got a point there.
Current day Montana is Wild West. I don't know. So, yeah. Well, that was.
It's present time in a town in Montana, Hope County, Montana, and some people are speculating that there's a religious cult theme to it this time. But it'll be interesting because a lot of the older Far Cry's is in a jungle atmosphere or a caveman atmosphere with animals and everything that you can make wallets out of and all that crap. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on it, but we just want to always point out that Lala was wrong. There you go. Wait. Okay, good. So you were wrong.
Go for the next topic.
All right, the next one is going to be a really quick one too.
Jammer was promoted.
That one's not in here, thank goodness. The Division had an update released today. We actually put in our agenda, does anybody care?
No,
I know there's some people out there, but any thoughts on the Division update, which I did look at to see what's out there. There's like a loadout. It offers players a chance to save equip weapons, gears, and stuff to loadout slots, so you can swap your builds a little bit quicker.
Nope. Moving on.
Any interest in Division?
Moving on.
Nope.
Quantum right now is crying while he's listening to this because you don't love him anymore in the Division.
He's playing Warframe now.
Is there anything that game could do?
No.
This is where the host skills come back.
All right, here's what the game can do, and I thought about this.
To bring you back.
What they could do, and they could easily capitalize off of a big hot game at the moment on PC, is create a Battlegrounds game mode and throw it in as a DLC. Like they did the survival one. Now if they did like a Battlegrounds version with the circles, and they start off in the dark zone and it gets smaller and smaller, or the whole city, the whole map. I think if they incorporated something like that.
The only thing that will draw me back to it is to help Johnny finally be able to play the DLC that he purchased and get him past level 6.
Yes.
That's what would bring me back, is to be his friend. Grex, anything that would bring you back to the division?
I like Lala's idea, the battlegrounds.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice addition.
All right. Okay. We are rolling along, which is perfect. We're going to talk about one other piece of gaming news in a minute, but we actually have a new segment that we brought to the show, and I think it might be the best segment of the show. And I'm going to shut the mic off and let him go. It is the Lala rant moment. So Lala, the time is yours.
All right. So this episode I'm going to rant about Battlefield 1's DLC release schedule. If you look back on the different Battlefield titles, we're currently waiting for our second DLC in the Name of the Tsar, and the ETA is sometime in July, maybe. There's no set ETA yet. This time for Battlefield 4, they've had 4 DLCs released at the same time. We went a good, about 5 months without a DLC release for Battlefield 1. We're currently dealing with subpar maps in the game. There's broken maps like Suez they can't get right. They fixed it once, and they're going to fix it again by adding in more cap points. So yeah, once again, gamers are getting screwed. They're looking at the 3rd and 4th DLCs come out in the fall and in December. So who's going to really play in Battlefield 1 in the fall when you have Destiny, you have Battlefront out, which is, a title from them? Yeah, so I'm pretty pissed off that, I wind up buying premium. You get forced into buying premium, so you can get the premium queue, you get the map packs early and whatnot, and you're not even able to play all the DLC you purchased. So once again, I prepay DLC and I get screwed. So that's the end of my rant. Screwed DICE and their slow release schedule.
I'm not even going to fuel you on that one. See, but there's not really much you can fuel you on that. It is a little ridiculous. They've definitely announced that they're focused on Battlefront right now, and there's not going to be another Battlefield game before. Battlefield would have like that Hardline or Bad Company every other year instead of the main Battlefield game. My only thought against what you're saying, and Grex, let me know if you agree with this or not, is that some Battlefield players are dedicated Battlefield players. So they're going to play that game regardless.
I'll tell you what I noticed.
When the DLC is.
With that.
I asked Grex. I didn't ask you.
I'm telling you what I noticed. And what I noticed, this is my segment, damn it.
Well, it is your segment. Yes, that's true.
The hardcore Battlefield players aren't playing Battlefield 1. The players that I've played with Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, they're no longer playing Battlefield 1. The people that are actually playing it are more the Call of Duty people that are looking to expand or play a different version of Call of Duty. I think Battlefield 1 caters to that style of player a little bit more than the original Battlefield player. So they're not even concerned. Battlefield 1, they don't care. And I realized DICE did this to kind of stretch out that Battlefield title until they release a new one, which I don't know if they're coming out with one next year or the following year or what. Someone was saying rumors that there might be a Medal of Honor coming out again, which I don't know why they would bother trying to bring that title back, but whatever.
I was going to go to Grex, but you're right, Lala. It's your segment, so sorry, Grex. Fuck you. You're out. It's his moment. It's his section. He has much better rants than that one, so that was actually pretty tame. I hope your segment gets better over time because that was pretty tame.
Oh, I'll work on it.
Why don't we talk about, for the next Lala rant moment, adult gaming communities?
That'll get me going.
Yes. So next, we're going to kind of go back to gaming news, but it's going to kind of segue into our main topic. Destiny 2, a lot of information came out this week about Destiny 2. There was guys in the Discord chat. I saw you all. I was making fun of you all because everybody's like, there's now 600,000 people watching, and there's now it's 200,000 people watching. And, people were keeping counts of that and all, and you're all just nerds. So since you had your moment, Lala, with your little rant, I'm going to go to Grex first with his thoughts on what he saw so far with Destiny 2.
The game's a turd.
Thank you, Disney. Tournament next week.
It's done right there. Let's put it in quotes. So Destiny 2, the biggest thing I was really liking, and this kind of goes to almost our main topic, right? Little plug right there, is the clan stuff that they're adding, right? The ability to have clans in game and allow things like clan activities, buffs, do clan finder, so we can actually use it as some sort of recruiting tool and things like that. I mean, that was one of my biggest takeaways. Nothing about the story, the gameplay, or anything like that. My biggest takeaway was them trying to include larger communities into the game. And this is something that's just missing from a lot of games today. They're always, I don't want to get too much into the main topic, but we'll
please
go
don't
into that
piss all
deeper,
over our
but,
main topic.
that the games cater to these small little fire teams, and if you have a large community, if you have more than 3 friends, which I know is a rarity for most of us, it becomes harder to group up and do things. So, I applaud them for that. As far as everything else goes, the combat looked the same. I like that they changed the skills around. They came out with some new weapons and new skill lines and things like that. So it did add some new things to it. Although we are still fighting an enemy from the first game, it's not really a new enemy, so to say. But other than that, I'm still really interested in the game, and definitely a day one purchase for me.
Yeah, that's Grex talks about the enemy being a repeat, and that's typical Bungie. They just can't ever come up with anything new. I mean, you look at the Halo titles, you face the same thing. I'm hoping maybe that the reveal they just showed the Cabal, and maybe they're bringing in more people later on in the story. They're just the initial baddies that they show. As far as the reveal, it was nice to see that they're actually going to include a story in the game this time. That was kind of a plus. That's kind of nice.
Instead of the shitter cards.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was pretty bad. What I believe, my little conspiracy theory was that game was supposed to be Halo and released cross-console, and Microsoft said, fuck no, we're buying Halo. And last second, they had to rewrite a whole new game. Anyway, so they have that. I watched it. It looked great. Day one purchase for me, so I know a lot of GRGs going to be getting it, and that's all I need to know.
What do you guys think about one of the complaints about the first one, and something I ran into, is that light level stuff. It really segments your community for people that can play it all the time. You have your hardcore Destiny players. They're like, holy shit, I got light level. I'm going to bust my ass and get to 300 light level. And then you get your casual gamer that then gets left behind because they're still at a 200. So is there going to be adjustments to that in Destiny 2, do you think?
Yeah, they did mention they were changing the way light level works and the way gear level works. And I didn't quite, I got to read through it again because I wasn't really sure what they were talking about. Plus, if you watch like too many YouTube videos, you get everybody's opinion on it, which just confuses you more because no one knows the actual what's going to happen until the game comes out, of course. But it looks like they are reworking that to allow better inclusion for people of different ranges, and not pigeonhole groups into things like that. So I'm hopeful that they've reworked a lot of those issues out and stuff like that. Still have faith in Bungie to create a good game. So,
well, that's the key word that you just used that I always feel with Bungie, and Bungie makes a good product, but it kind of goes back to what Lala said. When I played Destiny, I'm like, these look like they sound like and kind of act like the enemies did in Halo. And Halo, you name the Halo title, they were all the same. And they don't really create something new. And that there are some hardcore Bungie people that refuse to see that you're basically just getting the same type of game that you've always had. And it's amazing that people don't see that. They're so dedicated to Bungie. Go ahead, Lala.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it just was the thing, like you say, like the Cabal, and they're the brutes. The Vandals are like the elites. I mean, it's just, they're direct mirrors of what you faced in Halo. But regardless, I mean, people are playing this to have that MMO style gameplay, the MMO light style, as I say. And I think as far as like playing with people at different levels, I thought I heard that they weren't doing the light levels the same. Or doing it at all. I think they were getting rid of it. I don't know. But there's always going to be gear levels, especially for the game like Destiny. The whole thing's designed around getting loot and getting gear. And you're just going to have to suck it up and actually play the game this time and join in with us.
Okay, so suck it up is Lala's answer.
Well,
That's
you're
so
going to have to play
shocking that would come out of that.
Suck it up, Nancy boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Grex alluded to, that kind of brings us up to our main topic, which is something that if we had a lot of time, I probably could really rev up Lala and anger him and get him on a rant. But since we're going to keep our time short so Grex doesn't yell at us because he actually is a mean bastard, you guys just don't know it. The main topic today is, are small fire teams hurting gaming communities? Games like Battlefield kind of do that by having you in squads of 4, even though you're part of a larger team. And then Destiny made it even worse. So especially this is a very good topic for having Grex and Lala on, considering that they run a large gaming community. And how have they handled that? And is this the trend that we have to deal with now, running communities? Go ahead, Lala.
Yeah, this is definitely the trend. And how we're handling is we're still learning how to handle this. This is something that isn't easy to solve. We have these groups. I can log on, I can create an event, and I'll get people to join right away. But I need to start training other members of the community to do the same. So if they're playing Destiny, I'll go on sometimes. I'll watch people play Destiny or Battlefield or something. And if it's not an event, you see a whole bunch of people playing solo. And it's like, what are you guys doing? You all game together, spam out the invites, and there's R2.
R2's inviting people right now.
Yeah. At least with Battlefield, we can all get into like an Xbox party. But the latest Battlefield really screws you because it throws you all over. You know, you can start off in one team, but next round, you guys get split up, and it's maddening. You just want to play as a group. We thought buying a server would settle that, but unfortunately, we didn't have that option. It wouldn't let us stay together as a clan, so that didn't work out. Destiny's just brutal. 3-man fire teams, 6-man raids. It's hard. People feel left out. You do a raid, and you either have 5 people or 7 people that night. It's tough. So we're still trying to work that out. It's something that I want to try to educate some of the GRG members to handle themselves and work. You know, we have this friends list. I have like 400, 500 people on my friends list right now. There's no reason why you should be gaming alone, or you shouldn't be able to find 2 people to fill your party.
Yeah, and I actually, Grex, is this partly the decline of Call of Duty? Does that hurt even more? Like, you know, we used to always have that, and that would keep your group together, or we play in private matches or whatever. Do you think Destiny and Battlefield would still dominate if there was still a solid Call of Duty title out there?
Probably, because they were bringing different things to the thing. I mean, Battlefield always had its following and stuff like that versus Call of Duty. For a large community events, Call of Duty just made it very easy with the large private games. Getting 16 people in a lobby to get a private games going was always a fun time, and we can customize games like that. That's another thing I see falling off the feature list for a lot of games is private matches. That's always coming second fiddle to anything else. Private matches, yeah, we'll get to it, or maybe we'll throw it in, but it'll come 6 months down the line after the game's already pretty much lost half its customer base. So yeah, and custom games was always a good way to get a lot of people into games.
Yeah, the benefit
definitely hurt us, but I don't know if it hurt Destiny or the other games really that much.
Yeah, the benefit of the custom matches, I think, really helped out, where you get that group of 16 people in, you get a lot of lurkers or some people that are just quiet, and it gives them the opportunity to join it, to get to know some people. Usually they were pretty active and lively, and after that, things would change. They would become more active. It was just like a stepping stone to being part of the community. Not having it, like Destiny didn't have private matches from the get-go, which was maddening, because it would have been a great Wednesday night. Once things started settling down, once people started doing the Vault of Glass, clan night thing, just running some private Destiny rooms, and they didn't have it for the longest time. It was a shame.
Yeah, and one thing I always fault GRG for is why we never really had a good following for Halo. I mean, it was always we'd have these spats where we'd get good Halo groups together and we could do private matches and stuff like that, but it was never something that held on long lasting. And for a game that has its own development environment for custom maps and lobbies and everything like that, I mean, we can definitely fill probably multiple, but we just never had the people, I guess, that were that interested in Halo.
Well, in terms of Halo, let me ask this question. Do some people, because a headshot in Halo is so critical, and if you have people that can headshot, it really changes the game. So does that hurt people's opinion in terms of casual gaming, where Call of Duty's kind of run, shoot, die, right? Unless you're a really skilled player. Where Halo is, well, I shoot, but you shoot me in the head and I'm dead. So does that help hurt, in a sense, that becoming a following for us, where we have a pretty wide range of different level players?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the skill level for Halo has always been higher than, say, Call of Duty or Battlefield, in terms of first person shooters. Yeah, absolutely.
You look at Call of Duty, and I see people in the forums bitch and moan if they're not playing hardcore Call of Duty. Now, keep in mind, like, you play Call of Duty, you shoot somebody with the one submachine gun, it has like under a second time to kill, ratio, and they want to play hardcore where it's like one bullet. So yeah, playing a game like Halo where you're going to need 5 or 6 shots on someone, they just can't handle it. They just don't want to play it. But I think what changes is I think Destiny took that Halo style gameplay and then added the PvE co-op stuff that people are now turning to. Whereas if they were playing Halo against other people and getting their ass kicked, they would run from it. But they play Destiny where it's very similar, but now you have a gear grind and you can co-op. Now they're able to, they're more interested in that. I think that's the way games are heading towards. I think games like Call of Duty, where it's just, multiplayer match after multiplayer match, are going to suffer in the long run. They need to have that character development, the geared grind to keep people interested long term.
Well, and that makes me think way back. It might have been Rainbow Six Vegas 2 was one of the first times with the community where, like, the first one, everybody just played private matches all the time. And then that was the beginning where rank really started mattering, because you would unlock shit and you wouldn't rank up in a private match. And I think that was the first step that really started hurting some communities, because people would be so focused on the rank or the grind, getting their light level up and everything. So I think it really dates all the way back to that in Modern Warfare, obviously, when that ranking system took place. And now that becomes the focus is I need the rank and I need to unlock. And if I'm playing this game, that's what I want to do, rather than be in a private match and not gain anything and hang out. Absolutely. Is that something you noticed like a while ago?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I've noticed it. Well, Vegas 2, I know I've been told to shoot. That's all we used to play was Vegas. We'd have 16 players playing a private thing. And then we switched over to Vegas 2. And someone figured out ways to glitch it, so we'd unlock the weapons so we could still play private. So that wasn't too big of a deal for us. But when we switched to Call of Duty, everybody's got to rank up their guns. I got to have this. Especially early Call of Duties where you didn't have anything unlocked. So even like if you played private, you needed to unlock stuff, for private. So that was a big factor. The current ones, you can play a private game and everything's unlocked. So you can make your characters however you want for private. But people still, I need to unlock this gun. I need to unlock that gun. I want to go on. I'm like, I need to rank up. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's really, really hurt it. Yeah, so it's kind of been an evolving type of thing. So even though we talk about like these smaller fire teams now, you really can date it back at the beginning trend. But at that point, you still could have very large groups. Call of Duty, if you're even playing a ranked match, you could have a team of 8 or whatever and go. So, but that trend has continued to go down. Greg said, is there any thoughts that you've had on how you combat that? Or like you talked about Destiny trying to do something with clan support in there. Is that the best case scenario you can look at now with these smaller Fireteam games for a community like ours?
Well, yeah. So going back to what Lala said about people are starting to go towards customization, co-op, things like that. Destiny adding in the PvP part of it, gets those people that are very interested in the PvP side of it to continue to do that. PvP needs to be on somewhat of a level playing field, so it's always going to kind of be separated. As far as bringing large communities in and stuff like that, definitely have to. I do like what Destiny's doing. That's something that's new. Clan buffs, clan bonuses, community bonuses, working towards a goal over a larger period of time, and thing is that they have to take what modern MMOs are doing today on the PC and try and incorporate that on the console. It doesn't translate one for one, but I do like what Destiny's doing. I think that's a right direction, and we can just hope to improve upon that. And as I think that'll bring a lot more larger communities together to help people find other people to game with and stuff like that.
Grex is in charge of GRG's Destiny clan. So if anyone wants to join, do anything, contact him. I don't want any parts of it. All these third-party clan apps are just extra work for me.
Well, and that's the one thing that GTA even has, your crew and all that shit. They have all this built-in stuff, but it just becomes a nightmare for a community manager to try, because you want to have, you want to control the GRG crew page of GTA. So that means more work for administrators and staff to make sure that it's not being used. It's being used in a way that you want it done. So yeah, that can always be frustrating, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the workload enhancement that running a large community we're going to have to deal with, because I'd rather have them incorporate clan stuff into the game where I can get a larger community together. So if I'm playing with 2 other guys in a fire team and then 3 other people join my party, I want to be able to help them get another group going, and do something else. So the drawback is, yeah, it's something else that we have to manage, but I think the positives outweigh that.
Yeah. The only thing with the we're going to finish up in a minute, with the clan type pages that are built in the games or whatever, is that you do all this work and people join it and shit, and then they forget to check the goddamn thing. And it just, there's so many wastelands out there when you think about all the Halo, community page that we might have, and the GTA crew and this crew and that crew, and everybody says, oh shit, yeah, let me sign up. And then it's the last time you go to that website.
Well,
it's
and that's
a mess.
Yeah, go ahead, Lala.
Yeah, I don't think that those sites are actually geared towards us. We have a site, we have a community, we have a forum board, we have Discord. So having a GTA page or Battlefield, all these different things, really has no benefit other than to have the clan tag associated with your gamer name. We don't use the message boards on the old Destiny page. We don't set up events through there, contact or anything through that old Destiny clan page. All that stuff really comes back to our forums. So for us, there's usually hardly any value towards these third-party game support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's mainly because they don't do anything to tie it into the game. I mean, it really provides... The only thing it really provides is for people to talk about the game outside of the game, but it doesn't do anything for you in the game other than maybe add your clan tag to your name.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they become wastelands, because it's like, what value am I getting out of that? Now, if the site actually, I thought Battlefield site was, when you change your loadouts, you can look at your unlocks, you can do all this stuff that's more tied into the game, and I can do stuff on the fly, and I can change my loadout without having navigating menus in game. I can just concentrate on going from match to match. That is a value bonus, and that is what keeps it from going stale.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Destiny, there was nothing. You got your clan tag. That was it. That was all you got, really. And you could look at Grimoire cards, but I mean...
Shitter cards.
So yeah. Just to to wrap it up, I just kind of.
Yep.
I have.
Hey, that's my jab, buddy.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying I think it's hard. these small fire teams for us to manage. If Grex and I get on, we can only, sometimes if we game together, that's only one extra spot. So we try to separate and pick up randoms, get people involved. But that's where you kind of have to educate your member base to use stuff like the forums or Discord and actively seek out looking for a group. I mean, I've seen people spend all the time doing on LFG sites trying to get people. And it's like, well, wait, we have the LFG here. Utilize the 600 plus members we have in GRG. So I'm hoping people learn and take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I think as the host, to wrap up, I think what anybody listening to the cast tonight could see is, having Grex and Lala on this episode was actually really helpful. It shows these guys have been running communities even, back when we were too old to shoot, before moving on to Grim Reaper Gamers. It shows that it's always an evolving process, and there's never an answer as to this is how you run a community. It all depends on the games that come out and how do you adapt to that. So it's always a learning process on an administration side on how to keep everybody involved depending on where the course of a game goes.
And,
like that wrap? That's pretty good,
actually, to finish, completely wrap it up, because I'm going to, if you do have ideas, contact PM one of us or just post it in the forums. Like, I think GRG should be doing this. Post it, create a forum post, or PM us if you don't want to put in the forums. I mean,
yeah, just PM Lala.
Yeah, just PM me, and then I'll rant and rave and bitch about it to staff. No, but if you have ideas, thoughts, you want to see something changed, let us know, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah,
actually, PM Grex, because Grex is more agreeable. I'll just tell you guys to fuck off, but Grex will get stuff done. He'll help you guys out.
Grex is really the ones that pulls the strings on the website. Lala just breaks stuff.
I just break the site when he's on vacation. I wait till he's on vacation, then I break it.
Hold on. So actually, I will finish wrapping up by saying, are small fire teams hurting gaming communities? Kind of. Sort of.
Maybe.
So that's the Johnny Hedge. We got to have him, when he can't be here. We still got to do it. So that was a good discussion, guys. So do want to welcome all the new members in the clan. We still had a couple people joining recently. If you're listening to this, you're not part of Grim Reaper Gamers, check us out at grimreapergamers.com. We have forums that are very active, forums.grimreapergamers.com. We have a Discord chat channel that's very active with a bunch of different channels in there. We have our Shiny Penny MMO of the Week channel, which this week it's BDO. Next week, who knows what it'll be. But make sure you're, taking advantage of all that. So there's plenty of different ways to communicate and be part of the community. The forums is the main focus, but we like bullshitting on Discord, obviously, when we're not busy working very hard. I put stuff onto the Xbox Club, all the events. So that's another way to use that now. Yeah, that's another way to see what we're doing, what we're up to. We actually get a lot of people interested in stuff we're doing, so it's going pretty well. Yeah, so those are the ways to go with it. Our next show, we've been pretty consistent. It's scheduled for June 6th. We're hoping to get that one out. We're working on some scheduling conflicts because somebody has their 20th wedding anniversary coming up. I think that his wife would probably prefer him be on the podcast and spending time with her. So the next show, it might come out at a little bit different time than normal just because we're working on that right now. Sorry, you want to try and stretch this out here, Lala?
Yeah, I was working on it. Yeah, I think she would agree with
anything?
You, though. I think she would, yeah. She says do it.
I could take that in many ways, but you've been married 20 years, so I know one of them isn't sexual. Anyway. Also, like I said, email us, email us questions, comments. You think that, you'd like to see how sexy Grex looks yourself. You're jealous that we're looking at Grex and you're not. Send us an email, ReaperCast@greenreapergamers.com. We have a Facebook page that Lala has no idea what the hell we're doing with it. Neither do I. At facebook.com/GrimReaperGamers. Twitter, we have a Twitter handle, grgamers.com, spell out the .dot. So we're there. We got guys on Twitch all the time. We have people on Beam. Our community nights, if you're listening to us and you don't know what our community nights are about when we play on Wednesday nights, check out Twitch. Grim Reaper Gamers. Generally, somebody's streaming our community night on there, so you can actually watch and see how bad we suck. Maybe you're one of those gamers out there, and you're like, I'm not that good. I can't. I don't want to join a community and be embarrassed that I'm not that good at a game. You can watch and see just how much we suck, and then say, oh, well, I can beat those guys. There's no problem. So, check that out as well. Any parting comments before I wrap up Total, so Jack can stretch this out a little bit further?
No, I have nothing. I want to wrap it up on time. Let's go.
All right, thank you. And that was actually to save me from coughing on Mike. So thanks for everyone listening. Remember, smack your peen against the subscribe button. Check out our past episodes of Shenanigans. We're on YouTube. We're on Google Play. What's it? iTunes,
TuneIn, everything. We're on everything.
TuneIn Radio. We're everywhere because we're just that awesome. So have a great night, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.